According to recent statistics, 20% of India's youth is addicted to the internet. The word addicted is, of course, not very favorable to Dr. Samir Parekh, who's sitting with me.
Addiction to internet, online gaming, to pornography, maybe even to social media can be addictive and can be an addiction. I just feel that we need not use the word addiction in a loose manner, where regular usage or is overdiagnosed or overused by adults, especially when it comes to teenagers. That, my son's addicted to TV or my son's addicted to online streaming. That may not be the right word, because addiction is a more scientific word. There is no debate around the fact that we all should be concerned about our increasing dependence on digital communication, on gadgets, our increased indoor time spending, increased social media usage. To me, as a mental health person, especially working with children and adolescents, it's a major concern. But then addiction also has a more clearer and different context in terms of a mental illness. Let me help you understand how would I see addiction. So addiction would be that you are using something more than what you should. You almost realize that you are doing that. Sometimes you also have this understanding that I want to reduce it. You try and reduce it, but you aren't able to, because when you are not doing that, you feel withdrawal, craving, which can be both psychological as well as physiological. And when you take it back in, you feel better, which makes you use it more and more.
Right.
On top of that, it takes over your important aspects of life, your social relationships, your physical health, maybe your sleep and appetite, your work and studies, where this becomes the fulcrum of your life around which everything is revolving, and other consequences of your life which are happening, they don't bother to you. That's addiction. There is a significant increase of gadgets and social media, the digital world, by almost everybody. Adults themselves are using
Absolutely
it a lot
right.
more. It's not merely the availability of a smartphone or an internet that's happened to the child. What's also happened is that outdoor activities got compromised. What's also happened is that families have got smaller. What's also happened is that interface and interaction between generations has also reduced. What's also happened is that the same phone or social media or internet gives access to a lot of things, irrespective whether this child's age and what's the content, is there an appropriateness correlation happening or not. That also has happened. So what are my options? My options are not taking the phone away. My options are not switching it off, because in any case children are more intelligent than us, they'll find a way around it. My options are, I need to give skills, empower media literacy, at the same time encourage good balanced life and give the right stimulation based on the child's interest and aptitude, so that children can explore that. We need them to explore their creativity, sports, physical activity, as well develop social skills, and social skills are not going to come by reading a book on how to make friends.
Doc, it is said that every generation defines its addiction. So, if it is not this, it will be something else. And I think it's also, like you mentioned, these are social factors that also encourage these addictions, right? We are talking about 8.5 hours of screen time, binge watching, online gaming. What can a parent do?
Again, put the context of duration with regularity as well. Keeping awake till 4 a.m., 5 a.m., I'm barely able to keep awake. I don't do my homework, I don't do my tests, I don't try to meet my friends. Every evening when I'm supposed to play cricket or football or badminton, I'd rather sit back and do this. Now that's the difference. And I do that regularly, then it starts affecting my health, my appetite, my sleep, my academic performance, my relationship with my friends, my fun, my joy, my happiness. Please understand the difference.
Yes.
So everybody who was getting up to see the episodes of the recently concluded series, some of the adults working in my team early in the morning because they just had to see the episode as and when it was released.
I'm included in that.
So I feel I find the comedy in it.
Yes, I find the comedy in it. That's not addiction because you're aware.
Addiction. You're just being silly by waking up to see a fictional show episode at the.
You haven't seen it, so you don't know.
Yes, because oh God, thank God for it. But you don't understand that. Would
Yes,
you call it as an addiction?
It's
There's
not an
hundreds and thousands
addiction.
of people who got up in the morning just to see an episode.
But it's not an addiction. That's not an addiction.
Precisely. So that's why I said, don't look at one episode, don't look at one duration.
So tell me, in your experience, are there people who are getting in their children for gadget addiction? Are we blowing it out of proportion? That's my other question.
I think adults are surely overreacting to the usage of gadgets by children, no doubt about it. I also simultaneously believe children are using gadgets a lot more than I'll be comfortable about. And yet, I'm not using the word addiction for most of this. I feel that we as adults have created an environment which is making these gadgets the most attractive, accessible way to pass time and do things, and we've made it socially acceptable. The fact that we even use the word social media influencers is reflective of our times. I've seen this 17-year-old boy who was brought to me who had a clear-cut online gaming addiction. This boy would actually not even use at home, but would even go to those small little parlors which were like internet cafes and things like that, and would typically spend 8-10 hours almost every day doing online gaming, and would get very irritable if we asked not to do it. Would either skip school or doze off at school, sometimes skip meals because wouldn't leave that game. I'll leave after 10 minutes, I'll leave after 20 minutes, I can't leave now, and would forget eating for a few hours, and drastically, lost a couple of kgs of weight. Academic performance came down. Friends tried to come and take him out, wouldn't go out. No, that's addiction.
So how do you treat that?
Like any other medical problem. In this particular case, you look at the behavioral therapy, gradually start shaping his behavior, simultaneously bringing the environmental change, utilize all these support systems, and in some cases even use medications depending upon what are the other comorbid factors, depressive features, anxiety, insomnia, so on and so
Because
forth.
it can lead to anxiety. It can,
It can
lead
be
to
associated with it. So you look at that component as well. I've seen another young executive, 26, 27, who came to me with pornographic usage in a very similar manner, had lost 2 jobs because just couldn't control the urge to see pornographic images at workplace. Very similar aspect, would not sleep at the cost of sleep, cost of going out, would prefer being on the net watching pornography rather than going out with friends. Started losing friends, but that stopped mattering. And once 2-3 jobs were lost, and then wasn't getting a job, is when realized that, is there something? And the reason to come was actually that I'm losing jobs. And when he came to me first, he didn't even realize that, there could be a correlation.
internet porn. Are we underplaying it because the addiction is so rampant, it is easily accessible, and you're reaching out to a section of society that does not even understand what they are seeing?
I don't think it's about underplaying or overplaying it. I think it's about acceptance.
Are we accepting that there is a problem with internet porn addiction?
I think we are not accepting the fact that our gadget usage needs to be given a serious thought. When 4 or 5 members living in one same house talk to each other through a text on a WhatsApp group,
That's a problem, and it's happening.
that's the concern. Is there a concern around gadgets? Absolutely, and without a doubt. Is there a concern around the nature of social media usage? Absolutely. I have an issue with the content. I have a major issue with the nature of trolling and cyberbullying that's happening. I think it's very unfortunate. I have a problem with fake news and fake information. It hurts the society's thought process, especially when young people in their formative years are passed on information which is completely incorrect. I come from mental health. We've taken the brunt of stigma, faulty information and myths being propagated for generations, that even today people have faulty information about mental health. How it is also changing the way we look at ourselves. When young people look at how many likes they got, when they start looking at, am I a part of this group also or not? The need to Photoshop a selfie, click 20 of them and then pick one of them and see which one can I put as a display picture and have I changed it often enough, and so on and so forth. So yes, there are concerns. Similarly, pornography is very much a concern.
Pornography is an addiction.
Yes, exposure to pornography to children in early formative years, how it shapes their thought process around the concept of sexuality, we will still probably realize in years to come. So that's a concern. I see very regularly couples who come to me because one or the other partner's pornographic usage created a problem.
How?
From one partner considering it as a form of infidelity and other not, and these are individual views. There is no right and wrong here, because when it comes to relationship, it's more about matching your views and beliefs. And but recently saw this the 37-38-year-old man who clearly told me that my sexual relationship with my spouse has changed because I'd much rather watch porn. One believes that watching pornography is okay, I just occasionally see it, how does it matter, but I will not tell my spouse. And then when the spouse finds out, then are you hiding? Is there more? So it starts a whole vicious cycle. So one needs to look at it at various levels. And then people coming where you have an individual who's lost jobs because was not able to control the impulse. Somebody who's at the cost of social outing, outdoor activities, social engagement, sleep, is so much addicted that not seeing gives restless withdrawal, seeing it makes you feel better, and then it almost becomes the only key thing that you do. We can't be judgmental about saying whether it is right, wrong, good or bad. That's not the point here. The thing is, there are concerns around pornography. Concerns around pornography, especially to the excess of pornography to children. I don't think most of us have solutions to it. So let's say you have a teen probably and occasional usage of pornography. A lot of times what you watch, also not always real, it's an enactment, sometimes not even scientifically possible kind of stuff. It may also shape your attitude, belief and views around sexuality by the mere exposure of what you are seeing.
Absolutely.
And you may see that as a norm which is okay to explore, which may not be the case, which may actually end up affecting your future relationships.
This is very important. Porn is not sex, and sex is not always porn. It's never porn.
But if you are a younger person, exposure or regular exposure to porn may shape your sexual exploration as an adult also.
And how does that impact your relationships? Because that's not always possible.
Precisely my point, and that's the concern. That's why pornography needs to be looked in the context. It's not about the morality, the right, wrong. Just forget that. That's not even important. Children, adolescents, adults, based on the nature of usage, how it affects their relationship, does it affect their relationship or not, needs to be also understood. And addiction would be an addiction where it becomes almost the core thing that you are doing at the cost of everything else. Most of these aspects that we've discussed, whether it is social media, whether it is cyberbullying, whether it is gadget usage, whether it is pornography, I think it comes down to media literacy. Empowering young people with media literacy where they learn to ask questions. What I'm seeing, is it true or not? Is it fake? Who is benefited by this? Who's paid to do this? Second is, parents need to be very, very aware about ensuring that their communication with children gives children the confidence to talk to parents. You use your safety mechanism, especially for younger children, because of the nature of access and easy accessibility is there. There are continuous conversations that we have. So if parents want to make an impact, parents would have to, and adults, parents will have to look at their own usage of the gadgets and the digital world, which I think is very important. Dinner time, if you are on your phone or a laptop or television or something like that, then you are telling children that this is an okay thing to do.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Absolutely.
The importance of critical thinking, because a parent can't be there everywhere. So the ability of the child to understand this is not right for me because it's affecting my life that much, because it will impair me as an individual. It's important for kids to understand communication between parents and children, very important. Again, we are stressing this over and over again.
Conversations in school which are very important. I think somewhere our educational system needs to find a little bit more space to be able to discuss for the more real issues and life skills beyond trigonometry and differentials and history dates.
I think a lot of schools are doing that.
Yes, but it needs to become across the board, and we need to value it, because a lot of influence that happens on young people, that happens through the peer community and through media.
When a person realizes that they are addicted either to porn or to online gaming, what can they do?
Your life is more important. You have to talk to someone. If you feel the hesitation to talk to a family member or a relative, go straight walk into an expert's clinic. Confidentiality in any case is going to be there whenever you walk into any professional's chamber. Taking the right intervention, there is no substitute for that. Sitting at home by yourself may not always work.
And this is very important, this whole confidentiality thing.
I think one of the safest places you are in a therapist's or a psychiatrist's chamber, because that's one place where you will not be judged, and whatever you share will not be shared with somebody else. That's just a part of the ethics.
And parents need to respect that as well.
Yes.
Well, on that note, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We barely touched the tip of the iceberg. We will be having more discussions on all kinds of addictions, especially related to gadgets. But thank you very much for this insight.